Excellent. Well, cool. As you can see, it just started.
Awesome.
Yeah, no. So growing up, I was definitely that kid, man. That the hair. Oh, I would spend at least 30, 35 minutes doing my hair, and then it had to be nice. I had like I would it would all go one way, and then it had to curl all nicely. Yeah, yeah. Not until my parents got me the hair gel that was like in the big old tub,
Yeah.
like the $5 hair gel, and that one, oh, so I loved it. And then, but then it would be rock hard too, so that nobody could touch my hair. But God forbid it would rain.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, yeah. As soon as the water touched or somebody touched my hair, I was like, oh, dude, it was like having clean shoes. That was my version. Don't touch my hair. Yeah, you can do everything. Don't touch my hair. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. When I was younger, I kept my hair relatively low, so it was relatively easy to just kind of brush and go. But as this started to come in, that's where I spent the most of my time in the mornings. Like, have to comb it, have to pick it, have to brush it, have to make sure that it's even and packed just right. And yeah, still to this day.
Whoa. I said I'm ready for greatness. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I said I'm ready for greatness. Yeah. I said I'm ready
Should
for
start.
greatness.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Harvey, for being the first guest actually on the Yo Frankie podcast. My name is Frankie, as you can tell, and yeah, we put this podcast together because we realize that a person is way more than just a resume and the cover letter, and it is crucial, it is critical for people to see who they are, right? Yeah, behind the keyboard, behind all those statements, right? Behind that body of work. And hopefully here, right, at least hopefully here, let's use this as a little bit of a stepping stone to get you a little bit more exposure and have people see you for who you are, right? And I want to help help that, right, essentially. um Eventually, right, yeah. I'll get that right, or I'll shorten it up, make it a little bit better. But yeah, I think you get the idea, and the people definitely tuning in will probably fast forward my part and get to yours. So yeah, so Harvey, yeah, I know you go by a bearded dev. Um, Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Will do, man. First off, thank you for having me. I really appreciate, like I said, your platform. I appreciate you shedding this light and kind of getting the view of the person behind the resume, behind the body of work. So thank you, first off, for that. And as far as about me, I am a software engineer. I've been doing this thing for close to 4 years now. I started off kind of doing websites for local clients. Started off really friends and family, and then it kind of expanded a bit to their friends and their family. A lot of pro bono work, mainly to get my name out there to kind of showcase what I can do. Some graphic design work as well. I joined this agency, 100 Devs agency, where they taught us the basics of uh, I guess, web development from scratch. So HTML, CSS, light JavaScript. And then from there, they gave us exposure to being a full stack developer. So we picked up the back end with Node and Express, and then tightened up the front end with React. So became a full stack developer. Um, it was lovely working with the agency, getting to work with fellow colleagues, learning from them, growing and developing. From there, I got to attend a couple of conferences, and then I found my true love, Python. I found that out with going to reInvent. It's actually 2 years ago now. Went to reInvent, and it was absolutely lovely. I attended a lot of the machine learning talks and machine learning, deep learning, AI, all of that was very intriguing. And I was like, okay, well, in order to get started with that, I got to learn Python. And I learned Python and loved it. I haven't really looked back since. I do still do my freelancing on the side with a bearded dev consulting, where I do websites. I do a bit of graphic design, designing logos and different graphics that clients may need. Um, and as of right now, like I said, mainly focusing on learning Python, getting the intricacies of Python, so that way I can move on to machine learning. I've got this huge book that's sitting over here on my daughter's table of machine learning with PyTorch, TensorFlow, and Keras that I'm looking forward to diving into, but I'm still kind of, like I said, working through the nuances of Python right now. But yeah, that's just a bit about me and a bit of my experience. I love
Awesome.
tech overall, though. I love tech because there's always something to learn, something to do, something to I guess have people to meet, interest to share. Like it's a wide community, and I'm loving my journey in it.
Oh, I love that, right? Yes, tech is huge. I remember being in high school and being asked, right, what do you want to be when you grow up? For me, for example, when if I go to the grocery store and I walk down the cereal aisle, oh my gosh, it's I'm gone for 20 minutes, right? There's too many options. There's too many options. I wish there was just like two, and yeah, and to be asked, right, a question of what do you want to do when you grow? What do you want to be? And at an early age, right? Yeah, you think. When I was 13, I thought I had things figured out, and then when I was 18, I was like, oh man, I didn't know I got figured out until I got here with a question like that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I was like, I want to do everything, everything,
I want to do
and
everything.
oh yeah, exactly, right. Yeah, and definitely in tech, right? Yeah, if you can go into cybersecurity, you can go into development, you can go into all these cool things, and then, have your own company, right? The sky's the limit. And I wish, right, people would. I wish I didn't have that mentality when I was younger. Of the yeah, I need to make a choice, and I need to make it now. Um, yeah, so Python, I tried to use a little bit of Python. But yeah, because when I was a VI admin, dealing with VMware environments, yeah, I tried to use a little bit of Python, and it was a little bit to me. Python was like that next step because I started off with like PowerShell, PowerCLI, and a
Okay.
little bit of automation there, and then I was like, oh man, okay, if I can't do it in here, then oh, man, I need to tap into Python. And yes, yeah, to me, how you said like you're a developer, and if you're using Python, you're learning Python. I was like, oh man, see, to me it's like, oh gosh, you see that's how I'm gonna go back into my little hole and go back into using just Fire CLI because it's yeah, to me that is a little bit hard. But I have heard that it is the easiest of the of like the entry languages. Is that correct?
From my understanding, it is. I didn't look at Python until after I had a good handle of JavaScript, but I kind of hear that those two kind of work together, not in any way, shape, form, or fashion, like together. But they say that you can understand, like if you understand one, you generally understand the other. And my mentor, Matthew Smith, he absolutely did not care for JavaScript, I want to say. And then he decided to learn Python, and then he went back to JavaScript, and a lot of things kind of started to make sense. Um, I did it the opposite way around. I learned JavaScript first and then Python. I don't know. It is easy to understand if you how do I explain this? I'll say it like Python is easier to translate English to code. Um, like some of the other older languages
Right.
like C, C sharp, C plus, like you're really having to get the syntax, really having to know what you're doing. Well, with Python and JavaScript, they have a easier translation of what is it that I'm trying to do versus how do I get the computer to know what I'm trying to do.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah. Like yeah, it's human readable versus
Yes.
right the computer readable stuff, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I know. I like it. All right. So how? Tell me about when you were younger and like When did you make the shift into getting into IT? And like when, yeah, what did that story? Yeah, what was your first job or your last job prior to that coming into this world?
That is interesting. So, I'll start off when I was much, much younger. One thing that I really, really wanted to do was, I wanted to be a full-time student. And I'm saying it like that because I really wanted to learn. I enjoyed being in school. I enjoyed going through various courses and learning what I could learn and then displaying that particular knowledge. Um, so it's kind of always been there, like kind of just didn't quite know where it was going to lead me because like I said, tech, you're always learning something, growing and developing. Um, as far as my previous job, or I guess how this whole thing started, I was with a financial industry, excuse me, a financial institution for 10 years, or close to 10 years before I decided to fully pivot into tech. Um, I was in the research department for that financial institution, and in there, we had a lot of data that we had to make pretty so the higher ups can understand what it is that we were doing and all of that good stuff. Um, a lot of things that I was doing was in Excel, and in order to make the data pretty, you have to use either macros or functions. And I thought they were really fun and they could get very complex to display what appears to be very simple data, but that was just, I guess, my own little touch of what an actual API is. Um, so I was doing that frequently, turning this data into this beautiful stuff. And one of my colleagues sat me down and he was like, "Hey, you spend a lot of time in Excel. You like the problem solving because it's a job that we're really figuring stuff out. Have you looked into coding? Have you thought about being a programmer, a coder, or I forget specifically the word that he used?" And I was like, "No." Didn't really know that that was a thing. I figured I had to go to school for that and all of this stuff. Um, and he was just like, "You should really look into it." And I was like, "Okay." I looked into it, and that's when I actually found the agency. Funny thing is, so the agency had two different cohorts. The first cohort had already gone and done what they needed to do, and when I found the agency, I found the old cohort. And I didn't know I found the old cohort until I tried to apply, and then they were like, no, this is for 2020, not for 2021." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." That's a huge bummer. And then in the process of doing the application, I was going through my emails and trying to clean some of it out. And I realized that I got an email from the agency again. It was like, "Hey, that one that you applied for is closed, but this one is open." So that's when I applied for the agency. And then started the whole journey of programming. But looking back on it, it's been there. Like I mentioned, I wanted to be a full-time student. Technically, in tech, I am. I'm learning consistently. Like I said, I've got a book over there. I can't tell you how many other books that I've read either on my phone or that I've got locked away in storage currently because my wife says I can only have so many books out right now. But like I'm constantly learning, I'm constantly studying. There's something new. With Python, they're constantly making updates and making changes and rolling things out that makes things easier to program in, or deprecating stuff that's no longer working. So having to stay updated on that. Also with machine learning, like this stuff is relatively new to me, but in the realm of engineers who have been doing machine learning, this is like old news. Like, granted, they're doing newer stuff now, but this framework and these things that they've been using and methods and overall the languages and well, some fumbling on my words, but everything that they use with machine learning is older, and that has gone through several iterations and progress and changes. So it's consistent, and I love it because I always have the ability to learn, and I am I am very interested in making sure that I am better than I was before. So when I encounter a problem, because I love doing data structures and algorithms, I love leak code, I love code wars, HackerRank, I love it all. When I encounter a problem that I don't necessarily know how to figure it out, I love diving into the proposed solutions that other people may have done and see if I can kind of make sense of what they're doing, figure out, okay, well, why does this work? How does this work? Does this work in every situation? Is there a way that I could possibly break this particular solution? Similar to the approach that I make whenever I kind of come up with my own solution. So, why does this work? How does this work? Can I break this particular solution? If so, how can I make it better so that way it doesn't break? Um, Problem solving, I love it. Like I said, student, love problem solving, love figuring stuff out, love learning, love growing. Um, that's I feel at home in tech, and it's like I said, I was with the financial industry for almost 10 years, and it felt great, but it doesn't feel as great as this does because, like I said, I'm able to do all of the things that I love, not just problem solving, but I'm also crafting a solution. I'm also learning. I'm also growing and able to not just grow myself, but I can also impart the knowledge that I have to others because I didn't get here by myself. I didn't learn all of this solo. I had help from my community. I had help with the agency. I had help with the Discord. I had help with mentors. So many people have given me pushes and nudges and directions along this journey. So I just want to be able to be in a position to where I can give back um, in the manner that I've received.
Oh, and that is, yeah, and that's great, man. I yes, you touch on a lot of good stuff, right? Yeah, it's uh, yeah. So just recognizing, right? Recognizing that you did not get there by yourself, right? And yes, we have a community, right? There is a community, right? Even if you mentioned Discord, right? You mentioned these other channels, but like if you don't have Discord, if you don't have all these things, like you can start building the community right there at work, right? Because your coworkers, you spend more time with them. At least in my experience, I spend more time with my coworkers than I do with my family. And so
At home,
if
yeah.
if I yeah, and if I can't get along with my coworkers, then man, I can't work there, right? It's as simple as that. Yeah, because yeah, I need positive people around me, and yeah, it sounds like right? You would be an ideal coworker too, because yes, I love to problem solve too, and a lot of the questions I get asked with, right? I have no clue, absolutely no clue how to fix these things, but yes, people do reach out because they know I'm going to go into the rabbit hole where I will come out of this rabbit hole with an answer for you. And if I
Yes.
can't solve the theme myself, uh, I'm going to reach out to the community, right, or internally or externally, and we will get the answer for you. So yeah, and that's why I love tech too. Yeah, and I completely feel you there. Um, so Brett, yeah, besides all the learning and all this stuff in tech, what are some of your hobbies, man? What do you like to do outside of work? What keeps you busy, man?
I am a huge anime nerd. I love anime. I haven't really branched out into the manga yet, but I've got several of my friends that I've met along this journey that have been trying to push me to manga. But I love watching anime. Honestly, any spare second I get from dealing with my daughter who's 4 and starting to kind of get into anime. She likes to watch the cartoons, as she calls it, that daddy watches. So I spend time with my daughter. I watch anime. I love to cook. My wife absolutely enjoys my cooking. So that's a huge um, notch on my belt, if you will. I haven't quite converted my daughter into liking everything I cook. She's 4, so she's got like that very limited palate where she wants corn dogs or chicken nuggets or rice or
I'm tough.
potatoes.
It takes a while. It takes a while. Yeah, definitely. Oh, I'm with you there. Dude. Yeah.
Yes, but I love cooking, and honestly, that was actually my first true love, and um, I've been cooking since I was. It sounds cliche, but high enough to reach the stove. because I was always intrigued by how things tasted and what flavors combine together to make a better flavor, and why does this work with this? And yet again, more problem solving, I guess, now that I'm talking out loud. Why does this work with this? Why does this not work with this? What can I do to make this better? I love cooking, and I love the free form of it as well. So that's really much it. Cooking, close second, probably right up there with cooking, anime, and then family. Just kind of push them off to the side.
So man, your wife better not be right there, dude. Yeah. No, yeah.
Oh, she's within earshot.
Oh man. Yeah, no, I love cooking, dude. I love absolutely love cooking. And you're right. It is a form of problem solving. I I didn't even think of that. Yeah. When we used to live in the house before here, I used
Mhm.
to be on the way home, and we didn't have a grocery store close to the house. It was like a 20-minute drive. So yeah, yeah, at least an hour trip if you needed something from the grocery store. So yeah, we can get
Right.
home and open up the pantry, open up the fridge, and it's like, all right, what do we make today? And yeah, you got to come up with something. And I absolutely love cooking. I love cooking, and I have thought about, right, yeah, leaving tech and stuff like this, and yeah, wishing, right, when I was younger, to be behind the kitchen, right, to carry my knives. The they don't carry a backpack, with the
Yeah.
laptop, but they carry their knives and stuff like that. Yeah, just go into the kitchen and get ready to roll. Yeah, it is fun, right? And in a past life when I worked in casinos, one of the roles I had was in was as a barback. So
Mhm.
I would be around the kitchen in restaurants, and yeah, it's a fast pace. People are busy, constantly tickets and blah blah. And again, right, it is the problem solving thing. And as long as you stay in line and say, okay, hey, your job, your job, your job, right? You solve problems, the guest is happy, the customer's happy,
Yeah.
and there you go. You move on. Yeah, I absolutely love it. Um, Anime. I'm not. The only anime I don't even know if it counts as anime. To be honest, I
Okay.
don't think it does. I don't think it does. Dragon Ball Z.
It
Dragon Ball
does.
Z. I used to watch. Oh snap! Okay,
Yeah.
okay. There you go. See, I didn't know that. See, and I was afraid to ask. To be honest with you, I was afraid to ask because yeah, I would hear people like in the tech space. So yeah, there's this person that introduced me into the community. His name is Ariel Sanchez, but he works at VMware by Broadcom too, and
Mhm.
he's into anime. And I was like, oh, man, like I see the kind of stuff that he posts, but I don't I don't understand that stuff, and I felt like, yeah, like I didn't belong in that community, right? Like we're together here in tech, but that's a whole different community I can't connect with. But yeah, okay, cool. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
man.
thank you. Yeah, I might step into that. Yeah, because that was something that definitely brought me closer to my brother. Yeah, growing up, yeah, we would get home, watch it, turn it on. But you know what I hated? It would give like 2 minutes of cartoon and 5 minutes of commercials, and then it was
It's
like,
commercials. And
yes.
Dragon Ball Z was the absolute worst. Like, don't get me wrong, that was my starter anime, but it was the absolute worst because not only did you have those huge gaps of the commercials, you also had these huge gaps when the show is actually playing of them either talking about something that they had previously discussed or yelling to power up, and it's just like, okay, when are we getting to the action? Like this thing has been going on for 5 episodes, like specifically referencing the fight between Goku and Frieza. Like, you said you had 5 minutes before this planet destroyed. Why was that 15 episodes ago? Like, what is going on here?
He's
But
like, let's
yeah,
get it on. Yeah.
let me see what's
Oh.
going on. How are you getting out of this? Explain this to me.
And two, right? Like we were kids, and it's like, how do we have the attention span to stick with this when we know, okay, you know what, maybe by the end of the next week, maybe we'll actually get some action. Oh yeah, I
Wild
love it.
times, man. That's all I can say. Wild times.
Awesome, awesome. Does your All right? So let me. Where else? Yeah, because I don't want to talk. I don't want to talk work. I want to know. more about you? What is
Mhm.
your what what is that driving force within inside of you?
Mm. That is a good question. Um, my main driving force is I am looking for what pulls me. Um, and I'm not necessarily focused on the direction. Like, am I supposed to go right? Am I supposed to go left? I'm not really focusing on that specifically. I'm focusing on as I turn to the right, it feels better than when I turn to the left. So let me turn to the right a little bit more. Fine tuning that and realizing that um, I'm always exactly where I need to be, because everything is always going to work out for me. Everything always is working out for me. I'm a huge believer in that. So this overall journey, not specifically talking about tech, but my life journey has been obviously ups and downs and different things, but maintaining that positive mindset of knowing that everything is working out for me. I'm exactly where I need to be when I need to be it because everything is working off of my timing. Um, it's that's what pushes me. That's what pulls me, and that's where I'm looking for what feels great and finding more of what feels great and keep going on that particular path. And my daughter is another thing that kind of pushes and drives me because I not only want her to see um, what everybody else has, like I can go to school and I can get a degree and I can get a job, or uh, I can. That's one way to do it. When I was younger, that was the only way that was kind of pushed. Like you have to go to school, you have to get a degree, you have to do this. I simply want to show her that it's not about what you have to do. You got to find what you want, what moves you, what brings you joy and happiness, and um, finding more of that, and realizing that even when you aren't necessarily happy at this very moment, as long as you are working towards your happiness, that's ideally where you want to be because you may realize that you may not be happy because the situation around you isn't ideal, but let's focus on what in the situation can I use because it's always working out for me. So there's a reason why I am experiencing this. What lessons can I learn? What is it getting me ready for? Am I experiencing a bit of contrast to know that, well, I don't like it here, so because I know where I don't like it, I know where I will eventually know where I will like it. Or is it something that I'm supposed to learn? Okay, well, like I said before, I know that I don't like this, so I'm going to avoid this. It's it's the positivity. I personally feel that it's hard to do sometimes. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's easy to remain positive in every situation, but that's the goal, and that's my driving force in trying to show my daughter that there are different things. You don't have to do one thing. Um, you find what makes you happy and stick with that. And if something else makes you happy, then find a way to pivot in that and use what you've learned along your journey to make that even better.
Yeah, yeah, what a great mindset, right? It's yeah, just to know, right, that yeah, if you go somewhere, yeah, if you make a left turn and something isn't going well, just know that, hey, you know what? Okay, yes, you recognize this may not be the ultimate goal, right? The ultimate goal, but
Hmm.
let's but what am I learning from here? What can I take away? Well, yeah, and how does this make me better? And then okay, let's get rid of pivot because we got to pivot, right? And I think it's I was listening to David Goggins this morning, and right, yeah, it had the whole there is no, but once you retire, there is no finish line, right? Life is going to keep going on, right? It does not get easier as you get older, um, and yes, that is a great mentality to have throughout the life, right? Because if you don't, right, yeah, that's not good, especially
It's
especially
not.
when you have especially when you have somebody right looking up to you too, Yeah, and you set that example. Yeah, and I love it. I love it, especially yeah when you have somebody at home that is directly looking at you every single day, and it's like, hey, you know what? He's not failing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm so glad that you phrased that that way. He's not failing because I don't believe in a failure. I don't. It's a lesson. It's something that I learned. It may be a hard lesson. It may be a sucky lesson. It may be something that I would never ever want to experience again. But at the end of the day, it's a lesson. I didn't fail because I have the ability to continue. I have the ability to try again. Um, and that is a
Yeah,
lesson that I definitely am proud to be able to share with my daughter.
yeah. Oh, 1,000%, 1,000%, man. Yeah, yeah. No. That's great. Yeah, great answer. Yeah. And so, walk me through an example. Say like at work, right? If you are, if you're how would you approach your coworkers or a situation where say you're in charge of uh, right some project that is about to go live, right, and about to go in production, and staging, everything was great, and then you get to prod and it crumbles over. What is your reaction, and what is your reaction say, like, if you know, right, you don't want to get other people in trouble. Well, I don't know, this is what the question is about, right? If you know that a specific coworker is the one that messed it up, what does that situation look like in your world, and what is the end result of it?
That is a very, very good question. First off, it's really about candid conversations. I'm curious to know what led us up to this point. Like, were there not any check-ins between me as the lead, or me to that individual, or that individual to me? Additionally, we have to have that candid conversation to know, okay, what specifically happened. Like, did was this on purpose? Was this due to slacking off? This is not meeting specific deadlines. So like I said, there were things that should have been done prior to the failing on my part and their part, that would have prevented it failing on launch day, if that makes sense. um, so the check-ins between me and the individual to me, understanding their quality of work as well. So not just like what they're capable of, what they also want to do, what drives them, what pushes them. Were they assigned something that doesn't quite gel with their personality or what they were interested in doing? Um, was that a situation of some issues came up, which then falls back to the communication thing. Okay, if something came up and you weren't able to deliver, that should have been something that should have been conveyed to me. But in the same token, I should have been checking in more regularly. So it's for me, it's a lot of nuances, because it's not just about the end result; it's about what led up to it. So there was not just fault on that particular individuals as the leader. That's fault on me, on their coworkers. That's fault on them, for not, like I said, checking in to understand, or checking in on the progress to understand where we are, making sure that we're all pushing towards the same goal, that we're all exactly where we should be to meet that particular goal, even though we're working on different parts or different aspects of the project. Um, so it's like I said, it's a bit nuanced. It's not a straightforward answer. It's okay. What process breakdowns did we have before we got to this point, and how can we eliminate those in the future? And then, of course, once we've identified that, it's going forward. Okay, well, we need to push this deadline back. We need to communicate now that, hey, this is broken. This is how we can fix this. This is the estimated time frame, and this is how we're going to go about doing it. And then along that way of the new deadline, we're going to have more check-ins to make sure that we are on pace, that everything is working up to the point where we need it to, and then checking in and making sure that it's actually working, not just that the progress is being made, but the work being done up until that point is working. So that way, when we put everything together, have a few test runs with that as well. Put everything together, make sure that it's working from that point, and just keep going forward.
Excellent. I like that you mentioned that it's not all right on that individual too, right? As a lead,
Correct.
right? You take responsibility and something like that, right? That's the team, right? That's team mentality. And hey,
Yeah.
I I like to yeah. So in my current role, I took over VMware code program, and I let the code coaches know that like my mentality, I have an Ubuntu mentality where we we all get better because of each other, right? And so like if we help
Yes.
each other, when then we all rise up together, and if we're not together, then we all crumble together, right? We're yeah,
Yeah.
and that's it's not only a thing for the program, that's how I live my life. So yeah, no,
Agreed.
excellent, excellent. um if if money was no object, man, okay, if money was no object, right? You didn't need money. You're filthy rich. Or money wasn't even a thing, right? What out of the things that you enjoy most in your life, those experiences, what how would you spend your time? What would you would you still get a job? What would you do with your time if money was no object? Hmm, hmm.
If money was no object, I would probably spend the majority of my day in the kitchen. If I'm being absolutely honest, I would have a TV position in the kitchen so that way I could watch TV, specifically anime, while cooking. But I would dive into the serious depths of cooking, trying different recipes, trying different foods, trying different everything, literally. Because without money being an option, I won't have to worry about the bills. But not only that, I would have access to so many different things. Like, um, obviously, I live in South Carolina. We have relative proximity to seafood. I'm in the middle of the state, so it has to come from the coast here. Um, but if what if I had access to stuff that's overseas or things that just aren't readily available here? How could I use that to make a better dish or better food or how about I fly over there and learn how to cook from some of the head chefs over there or something like it's food is my calling. But I need to make sure that I stress this. I do not want to be a chef. I say that because I am very selfish with my cooking to a degree. I don't mind cooking for friends and family, and anybody that comes over knows that you're gonna get fed at Harvey's house. Um, but that's the extent of that. I'm not a fan or want to cook for random strangers. My cooking is more so a act of love. That is really how I communicate my love on any level. When I cook for my wife, I'm usually throwing down in the kitchen. Like I'm trying to say, hey, I love you. Let me give you some good food. Let me feed you. Let me make sure you're nourished, but not just nourished, that you're enjoying the nourishment. For my friends, it's the same way. It's like, I love you on this level. Let me give you this. Let me do this for you. So my cooking has a lot of love in it. So it's not like I want to kind of just give that out willy nilly. So yes, it would be purely for the purpose of making myself better in the kitchen, just to share with friends and family. Um, and then, of course, I would like to travel. I would like to travel mainly because I want my daughter to experience the things that I experienced later in life, earlier in her life. I want her to travel out of the country at a younger age. I want her to spend uh, um, however long she wants, abroad if she wants. Traveling and cooking, I think that is the main two. After that's kind of lost its luster, I probably would get a job just for the sake of doing something. Honestly, thinking about it, retirement kind of scares me because I'm just like, what is it that I would be doing at that point in time? But it's also a different animal because by that time, my daughter and or any possible future kids I may have will be grown and starting their families so I can be grandpa. I can spend time with them and enjoy that aspect or that era of my life. But yeah, if no money was no option right now, cooking for sure and traveling. I guess cooking and eating. Let's put those two together because I do want to try many different things. I am a foodie, hence why I love to cook because I like to eat.
Awesome. You know when so when you said right when you match love with food, the first thing that came to my mind was like Emerald, right? I remember watching Emerald on the Food Network, Food TV, and yeah, he was he would say it's a food of love thing. It's a yeah it's you have to just take your time, right? And
Yeah.
I it is completely different to be a chef for the masses than just to be like a home person, right? And yes, I love that you said being selective about it. Oh man, yeah, no, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I like it. I like it. Um, if you were so in your experience with work, the do you like
Yeah.
being an individual contributor more? Would you prefer to be a team lead? Would you prefer to be like a director? What position like within the company would you like to be at? I've had conversations like this before with a former CTO, and after speaking with them, yeah, like I myself came to realize that I don't want to be them one day. That is not in my future. I want to be hands on. I want to be here versus doing that job. Yeah, have you ever given that thought?
um, so I'm a bit iffy. I say that because I have been in managerial roles in the past, and more recently, when I was actually at the financial institution, I was a team lead and on track to be a manager. Um, but I'm a little bit beyond the managerial roles right now. I kind of want to go back and spend my time as an individual contributor. Um, but I will say this: I don't want to be higher than, as far as like future term goals. I don't really want to be higher than a team lead specifically. Like I want to uh, be hands on with my people so that way I can kind of help with the learning aspect of things as well as the development directly. Like, okay, this is what we're going to work on today. This is what I'm working on. I'll keep an eye on you. You reach out to me if you need some help. Um, but I want to have that direct connection. One thing I noticed about tech, or at least my perception of tech, is the higher you go, the more hands off you are. I don't mind being hands off the code. I'm going to put that in quotes, uh, so to speak. But I don't want to be more hands off on my people. Like I don't want to have to. I want access to the people that are making the most impact, and I think that gets lost a lot of times in the shuffle. Like we forget the people on the front lines, not necessarily like customer service level, obviously, but I'm saying like as individual contributing engineers, they're the ones who are actually doing the building and the constructing and the developing and boots to the ground. They're the ones who are doing it. And then I just want to make sure that I have that direct connection with the boots on the ground to say, hey, I help foster this, even if they, want to go up and they want to be the CTO. Cool. I'm going to stay right here so I can continue to have my hands in the development aspect as well as the I guess from both perspectives, the developing of the actual features and products and things, as well as the development of the people, the culture, the camaraderie. I want to be in the mix of that.
Yeah, yeah. If luckily our CTO was definitely in the mix, um, in the mix to a certain point, and
Yeah.
but he was in the mix enough to be on the softball team, right? So we had a company softball team that I was a co-captain of, and yeah, so I loved to have him on there, and like for me to be in charge, and it was like hey, we're not working anymore, dude. Yeah, you got to go run your laps. And I loved it. um yeah, no, I think it's critical. It is critical to have your ear to the ground, and especially if you have people working for you, right, and you can have direct access to people. I think that's the most difficult thing that companies nowadays are missing, right? That people, companies that don't value community too much, or don't invest in community. Those are that that's your customer base, right? That's your customer base. Those are going to be the advocates, and those are the people that are talking to each other, complaining about the product, of not complaining, right? They're talking, and like they're out of those conversations. That's where you want to be in, right? Yeah, that's where you want to be in, so
Mm-hmm.
that you can improve, listen, make better, and there you go, right? That's I think that is incredibly valuable. And but it is also admirable too, to be in a position where you don't want to be at the tippity top, right? You want to grow, help others grow, so that they can reach whatever goal that they want to.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, yeah, I like it. That's a good answer too, man. I'm telling you. Growing up, did you ever, um, were you into sports? Were you a sports person?
I liked playing sports, not necessarily watching or doing anything beyond that. And it
Mhm.
was mainly because it was just fun to do. Like I was never um, the competitive guy. I played football with my friends outside. I played a game called handball. Most people aren't familiar with it. I think it may be a down south thing. But we played handball. I wanted to play lacrosse, but I never really played for school. So I never really played um, anything on the school team. It was just really mainly with friends, mainly with the neighborhood, or when I was really younger, um, it was neighborhood against neighborhood. It was my friends against um, other neighborhoods, and we would just play football in the sometimes on the street, which was kind of wild. Um, but we would play football, and then riding bikes. That was one thing, and then definitely one thing I want to get back to, riding my bike. I have recently picked up roller skating, um, which has been kind of fun. I haven't broken anything yet, but I have fallen quite a bit. Uh,
Oh no. Oh man.
but but it's fun. My daughter loves it, so like I said, not quite a sport, but definitely something that I have interest in. And I guess it seems to all kind of go back to um, the friendship, the connection, the camaraderie that I have, not necessarily going towards a specific goal. I'm just really playing because I want to play with my friends. I kind of want to. I'm just playing because I want to spend time with my friends, and I want to do something that they enjoy. Um, I also enjoy it as well, but my enjoyment is, it's kind of like, I won't say it's secondary enjoyment because I am enjoying myself, but it's not for the basis of doing the activity. It's the basis of being with people that I love, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense. Yeah, and I didn't want to ask directly if you were competitive or not. The way you're speaking, the way all these things, I gathered as much, but I wanted
Yeah.
to ask it in a different way. Um, no, yeah, it's yes. I remember, pre-COVID, we would be in the office, and the business, there were two big conference rooms that weren't being utilized, and somebody brought a ping pong table in. So I was like, oh, ping pong, and I wasn't good at ping pong, but again, right? You want to be around people, and I very much enjoyed my coworkers, and if, we'd go have lunch, and it brought me back to middle school. I don't know if it was handball, but I remember in middle school, we used to go after lunch, or maybe not even eat lunch. We'd go, and it was a whole bunch of us. There was a wall. We'd have a ball. We'd throw it, but we called it, suicide
Wall
ball.
ball,
Oh, okay, yeah. So maybe it's the same thing, but so like, if you go and you try to catch it and you miss it, it touches the ground.
you have to
You
run
need
and
to
touch the wall.
Yes. Okay. Okay. It's the same thing. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Otherwise, you got to stand there, and you're gonna get hit.
and you
So,
get
okay.
pegged.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay. It's the same thing. All right. Yeah. There you go. Okay. Yeah. I like your name. Your name. Your name is a little bit more, well, way more PG than mine. I'm gonna use that. Uh, okay. Cool. Wall ball. That's what it was. Okay. Cool. Yeah. But no, I am a very competitive person, but yes, I also remember how I was saying with the ping pong table. Yeah, just going down there because the people that I enjoyed hanging out with were doing it too, and
Yeah,
they knew I wasn't good, and we all knew it. But again, right? We're grown adults playing a game as long as we're hanging out together. Yeah, right, yeah, that's really the kind of stuff that I miss now. Right, yeah, working from home all the time. I And don't get me wrong, there are perks, right? We have a dog and everything like that, but yeah, just hanging around people and again, right? That's why I like this community, right? Especially the tech community,
yeah.
right? You have people in different disciplines that have a whole bunch of different interests outside, and there you go. Then yeah, the big community, little communities branch off, and there you go. You just never know. It's a small world out here. Um, Excellent, excellent. All right. I'm trying to come up with so I have a few more questions, but
Okay.
I don't want to ask those questions anymore. I want to ask something else. Yeah. No. So okay. So what would you say makes you, yes? Say you're having a bad day, right?
Okay.
Horrible day, right? It could be related to work, something, or just something bad went on. What what is that one thing that'll make your frown turn upside down, right? What is something that is essential?
Good food. Um, the my normal pick me up from just feeling off. I'll say feeling off because it can range the gamut of a wide variety of things. So feeling off, having a good meal is usually a good start to a pick me up. Sometimes I kind of pair it with watching some anime. So um, like I have what I call low productivity days, where I'm not as productive as I want to be, but I'm as productive as I can be. And I it all starts with kind of giving myself a bit of grace because I'm not I'm not a robot. I'm not going to be able to run at the same level for an extended period of time. There're going to be some bumps where I'm a bit more productive, less productive, moderately productive, really productive. So when I do have my low productivity days, I grab my food, my meal, whether it's something that I cook or something that I just happen to be craving. Um, I do have I call it my Fat Boy Burger. Okay. And this is whenever I don't feel like cooking, where I just want to run and grab something to eat. I'll run to Sonic. I will get me a bacon cheeseburger, no onions, because that something about I love onions on a burger, but something about onions at fast food restaurants, they are very pungent, and I have a feeling that they're using the wrong onions. But I digress. Um, So I get me my bacon cheeseburger from Sonic. Instead of the tots, I get the cheddar peppers with the ranch. And then when I get to the house, I put the cheddar peppers on the burger and then drizzle the ranch on there and smush it all together. That
Nice.
is a pick me up meal. I call it my Fat Boy Burger. I usually grab that and watch some anime to kind of pick me up. That's what I don't feel like cooking. If I don't feel like cooking, then I'm really feeling like really low productivity, really off. So that's usually a great pick me up because it's so good. Like it is so bad, but it's so good.
It's so good. Yeah, and you're not having that every single day, right? And it's like, you know what?
Correct.
No,
Yeah.
I just yeah, I completely feel you, right? Yeah, there's no yeah, you can't be, for lack of a better term, you can't be on all the time. And
Yeah.
yes, yeah, where there even people, everybody has downtime, and I like that you said that, right? Because um I believe a lot of people try to say, hey, yeah, I'm here. I'm 100% all the time. Yeah, and they're gonna come at you with all this energy, and at some point in time they're gonna crash, right? And they're
Hmm.
gonna crash, and it is not. I don't think that's a healthy way to live, right? Not for your body, but your mind, really. Um, yes, yeah, yeah, food definitely changes things, man. It definitely changes things. Yeah,
It does.
yeah, I'm trying not to eat so much meat anymore. Although I love steak, yeah, man. If I could, yeah, steak every other day, a little bit of butter, a little bit of rosemary, yeah.
Every other
It's
day. Yes.
yeah, please, yes. Man, I like salmon now. Yeah, living up here in the Northwest, right, Pacific Northwest. So yeah, a little bit of salmon. Yeah. Oh, food. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, yeah, yes, I would love to cook every single day, and oh my gosh, man, right? Imagine all that with the money, the
Yeah.
kitchen you can have. Oh
The kitchen
God,
you
forget
can
about it.
have, the access to
Oh
food, like it's yeah,
yeah,
it's serious.
exactly.
It's
Oh
serious.
yeah, and two, right? Like if you get so where my mind goes with that is yes, if you had like an abundance of money, right? Yeah, if that wasn't an issue, and then you're traveling over to take lessons to become a better cook, then you cook for love, right? You cook, you have your big old kitchen, and now you're setting up, you're teaching the people that you love, right? And then
Mhm.
who's to say that they don't want to be a cook when they grow up? They see you, they're inspired, and they're like, "Hey, thank you for teaching me." And boom, there you go. Now you're off. Now they're off to become a chef, right? And so, yeah, right. That's where my mind goes, right? As long as you're sharing what it is that you love, right?
Yeah.
If it has to do with tech, if it has to do with cooking, if it has to do with roller skating, man. When he said that, oh man, I am a very risk averse kind of person. Yeah, where no, if there's no, if there's a 2% chance I get hurt, I'm probably not gonna do it. So
Fair.
yeah, roller skating. Oh man, you're pretty brave. But you know what? Yeah, if your
Yeah.
daughter does it, that's a different story, man. Yeah, it's oh gosh. Yeah, luckily my wife
Yeah.
knows how
She
to
was
roller
actually
skate.
she's the reason. She's the reason. She I don't know how she thought of it, but she was like, "Hey, I want roller skates for Christmas." I was like, "Okay, that's weird. Like we don't roller skate. Your mom I don't roller skate. Your mom doesn't roller skate. So we don't have access to friends that roller skate. Like where did you see this? Like what show anyways? Okay, you want some roller skates." Talked about it to the wife and she was like, "Why don't we all get roller skates?" And I was like, "Eh, okay." Got roller
Your wife
skates
said that?
and, yes.
Oh wow.
The
Okay.
wife was like, "Why don't we all
Wow.
get roller skates?" And now every Sunday, we go to the roller skating rink and we spend, like, hours there. It depends. Sometimes we'll spend, like, 2 hours there depending on, like, when, the gremlin decides to actually take a nap. Like, if she doesn't take a nap, then we spend the, smallest amount of time there because she gets cranky and yeah, it goes crazy. Um, but when she takes a nap, we've been there for, like, 4 or 5 hours. It's the time flies by, man. Like you're on the skates and you're doing things, and one of the major things was watching my daughter's progress because she hated her skates. She wanted the skates, she got the skates, she tried it out, and she hated it. She absolutely hated the skates. But we kept telling her, like, babe, we are falling too, so you got to get used to them. You got to try 'em. I don't want the skates. I don't like the skates no more. All right, well, mommy and daddy gonna go skating. The skates gonna be right here, and you can go play if you want. Because the skating rink we go to has like a little playground in the corner. So that's what she did first couple times we went. She would go play around, and then she would want to get on the skates because she wants to skate with mommy, daddy. Um, she's like, okay, well, let's do this. Let's do this. And the last time, so last Sunday when we went, she did phenomenally. She only played in the playground for like maybe 20 minutes because she was tired. So she went in the playground, laid in the ball pit, and almost took a nap. Um, but uh, she stayed on her skates the majority of the time. They've got these little like crutch little helper things. Um, she was barely using it. Like she had it there to catch herself when she fall, but she was mainly just kind of pushing and doing. and we were just like, "Yo, your progress is phenomenal." Like, I don't know, because like me and mommy have been doing this like since the beginning of the year. We've been on the skates and we're skating for the hours that we're there. So we have the practice. You skate for a little bit, go play. Come back, skate for a little bit, go play. And then now all of a sudden, just out of the blue, you're skating around like it's just like you've been doing this for how long? Like what's going on here? So yeah, it's been wild, and aids in my drive to continue forward because clearly she likes it, she's doing it, she's enjoying herself. Let's foster that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and kudos to your wife, dude, for saying, "Hey, let's all get skates." Oh my gosh,
Right.
right? That's oof, that is crazy. Oh man, but yeah, right. And such a great lesson too, right? Such a great lesson of, hey, we got this. I I know it's hard, but we're let's keep on going, and there you go, right? And slowly but surely, again, right? It's that feeling of community, or and like, hey, I want to do something that they're doing too, right? Even though it's hard, and right from an early age too, she's learning, right? It's these are going to be difficult, but these are worth it, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm having fun. Gosh, man, that's such a great idea. um Yes, yeah, that is a great idea. To be out and about too, right? Yeah, and it's two different kinds of things because nowadays, um, yeah, like our son likes to get home, and thankfully he gets home, and he does want to go outside and play with his friends, right? So he does all that kind of stuff. We have spoken to other parents where no, it's an opposite kind of thing, right? There's the internet and video games, and it's like I can talk to my friends online and you with my
Hmm.
headset, you're like, oh man, like there's nothing wrong with that, nothing wrong with that, right? But it is, I think it is super valuable to be able to be outside and enjoy that kind of stuff. And yeah,
Yes.
no, I like it. I like it. See, yeah, you're not only teaching people outside, right? Like work related stuff, but internally in the house too, right? There are many different ways to go about it. I love it. Um, one question I want to ask. One question I want to ask. What is something
Okay.
that so a pet peeve? What is a pet peeve of yours? What is something that just gets under your skin? Because you seem very even keel. You seem very just cool, calm, composed, relaxed, and everything like that. I but yeah, there's got to be something. There's got to be something. Yeah, I would love to learn.
So what gets up under my skin? Hmm. Hmm. I'd have to say the main thing is likely lack of communication. Like, tell me what's going on. From a personal standpoint, like when we had our discussion about the work related thing, like what happens if Bob messes something up. Okay, well, why did Bob mess this up? Why haven't we talked about this before now? So, yes, I'm even keeled, but I'm very frustrated with Bob because Bob, you should have talked to me if something happened. We should have had this discussion. Why are we not talking? Mainly because I really feel like conversations are the cornerstone to great relationships, and it's not just conversations; it's also about comprehension as well. I need to convey it to you in a great way, and I need to make sure that the way that I conveyed it to you is a way that you can understand it. Um, so not having that open dialogue or that conversation or candid conversation is a pet peeve of mine because I try to do my best to make sure that as you're coming to me, you feel like this is going to be a safe space. May I may be frustrated with what you're saying, but it's not going to impede upon our conversation that we need to have about whatever it is that we're discussing. So that's one of my biggest pet peeves. I have to be able to talk to and be able to hear from a person that I'm interacting with, whether that's on the job, whether that's in a relationship, as a friend, whatever it is, whatever status or level of that degree of relationship is, um, we got to talk on the ship. If it is a ship, we have to talk on the ship. So yeah, that is a huge pet peeve of mine, and probably the the
Mhm.
the main one. And it seems like it kind of causes and or stems from, or not stems from, it is the root cause of many different issues, many different disagreements, or breakdown, process breakdowns in any ship. It Conversation is the key.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just like right, yeah. Just like your daughter, right? Yeah, they didn't want to do that because okay, that you had to flat out just not putting on the skates. I mean, like, yeah, if there's communication there, I as long as there's a why, right? Going back to that mentality of not necessarily trying to fix everything, but yes,
Hmm.
if you've already established that people around you can come to you and talk to you and it's a safe space, then I don't see that being a pet peeve that's going to be stepped on or something like that. I don't even know how to say it, right? Yeah, a line that's going to get crossed later on because, right, it sounds like um, the people that you're around fully feel comfortable, right? Yeah, you make it known that it's a safe space, and hey, conversations with me, right? We're gonna stay here. We're gonna stay level, nice, cool, calm,
Hmm.
collected, and right because at the end of the day, I think you're grown enough, right? Where hey, we're on the same team. We're on the same team, right? You're not competitive, yeah, right. You're not
Yeah,
competitive. You're here. You're here to help others grow, and at the same time grow too, because what
yeah.
you want to do at the end of the day is go cook, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? It's yeah, I love it. Yeah, excellent, excellent. Ah, man, cool. Well, I know we're past time. I yes, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Any other words that you would like to say? Any other message you want to
um
say?
uh the only other bit of message, or I guess the bit of advice that I will give, is from uh, um, a book that I read. Do not be afraid of failure. Do not be afraid of no. Um, because a lot of people think that uh, there are two different sides. So, like, you're in the middle, success is over here, and failure's over here. And you're avoiding failure and trying to go to success. When actually, it's this way. So, you're over here, get in the camera, you're over here, failure's right here, and success is here. The only way you can get to success is by going through failure. So go through no's and go through uh, finding out ways of doing it wrong. Um, do it and do it well because there is value in the failure. And I guarantee you, the more that you fail, it's correlated. The more that you fail, the more that you will succeed. Fail and fail exponentially.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I was talking to my brother-in-law, and yeah, that's great, right? He was telling me that he wants to fail fast, right?
Yes.
Fail fast,
Fail
and
fast.
he is yeah, this specific brother, he's a director, and right, he's he's at the top, right? And for him to talk about failure, I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, that's not what I expect, right? Out of somebody's mouth like that. And no, it's the eagerness. It's the eagerness to, hey, you know what? Yeah, okay, I ate this for breakfast. All right, what's next? And immediately, okay, let's fail here at breakfast. The small
Yeah.
things, right? I did not like that breakfast sandwich, or you know what? Shoot, I put too many eggs in this one, or a problem that I have. Sometimes I have too much cheese, and the stuff melts off the side and I thought the kids wanted the cheese melted. No, they wanted it cold. I didn't know that because to me it looks delicious. Everything melting off the side. So right, you fail, you learn, and as long as there's open communication, then both of you can grow. And yeah, the next day, the next problem will be better. Um,
Yeah.
Excellent. Um, but let me ask you what. So people probably looking at this are people that hopefully people looking for somebody to join their team. Um, I why would I know we've stated a couple things. You said many awesome things here. What would be your pitch? What would be your pitch to somebody, right? Why would you fit in, right? Not necessarily talking about the tech itself,
Yeah.
because we know, right? Everybody can learn. Why you as a person can that should be on somebody's team? Why should somebody pick you up?
So I am a I am an individual who values growth and development. I am not afraid of failure. As a matter of fact, I embrace failure. I see that failure is a part of the process, and it's how I get to where I need to go. Not only do you have someone who is positive, who realizes that they are doing exactly what they need to be doing when they need to be doing it, um, realizing that failure is a part of the process, you end up with an excellent individual who is not afraid of candid conversations, who's not afraid of failing, who's not afraid of asking questions, um, who brings a air of positivity to your firm, team, company, whatever. He brings that breath of fresh air, and also pushes everyone else around him to strive for better. Because I may not be competitive with those around me, but I am always competitive with myself. How can I be better than I was yesterday? How can I be better than I was last week, last month, last year? What is it that I can add to me to push me forward or to that next level? And by doing that, I also do the same for my team. What can we do to be better than we were yesterday? What can we do to be better than we were last month or last week or last year? Um, it's the growth mindset, the positivity, um, the camaraderie. I love being a part of a team. Um, I think that these you are not necessarily unique on their own, but I think that they are a unique combination of things to be in one person, and that's what I bring to the table. That's who I am, and if you're looking for somebody like me, then well, you may not be quote unquote looking for someone like me, but I can assure you I'd be a great addition to the team because of those things.
I love it. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. Excellent. And thank you
Thank
to your
you.
wife
Great
too.
to
I
see
you know you said she's within earshot too, right? Thank you to her for allowing this to happen as well. So thank you. All right, cool. And yes, all the links to everything will be in the description down below afterwards. So definitely check it out. All right, thank you everyone.
Whoa. I said I'm ready for greatness. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I said I'm ready for greatness. Yeah. I said I'm ready for greatness.
Cool, cool. All right, so yeah, I know we're still recording, but yeah, I'll probably empty this out.
No worries.